does it really affect them, or why they haven't changed it, tried to change it. Well, I'm poor, I don't have money, like how could I possibly do anything? So, like for instance, his example was when they were talking to the Canadian Indian leaders, and a lot of the Indians were saying, oh, it starts on page 109 and 2, and then the dialogue starts on 110. And the Indians are saying, well, we can't organize because that's a white man's way of doing things. And that itself right there, like right off the bat, was pretty flawed. I mean, all races, religions, ethnicities, they've all organized in the past for one thing or another. It's not a racial or ethnic, not even a tribal, practice. It's something every human being can do. And it just seemed kind of silly, but once again, they're rationalizing. They're coming up with things as to why. Well, this is why we haven't done it, and kind of, like they said, defending themselves, even though it's kind of ridiculous and silly. They of course they feel kind of well, you said when you question something, people get offensive. So even though he's trying to help them, he's questioning them to get them thinking, and they get offensive. Yeah. So, offended. They get offended. And then the next one is the process of power. And he's talking about how he gains his little organization power, and he builds the mass power base of what he calls the army. And they start to go to the leaders, and on 113 he says, power is the reason for being of organizations. When people agree on certain religious ideas and want the power to propagate their faith, they organize and call it a church. When people agree on certain political ideas and want the power to put them into practice, they organize and call it a political party. The same reason holds across the board. Power and organization are one and the same. So first you have to think critically and understand that there is something we need to change, and then you need to find people who are like-minded, or who, you can talk to them and explain your point of view, and then they get to thinking, maybe he's right, and then they support you, and then you all band together to somehow change or reform that policy. One thing I noted was on page 122. When he's kind of talking about like if you disrespect an individual, to distribute equality in a project. So on 122 he says, if you respect the dignity of the individual you are working with, and his desires not yours, his values not yours, his ways of working and fighting not yours, his choice of leadership, his programs are important and must be followed, except if his programs violate the high values of a free and open society. So, usually, hopefully, you would hope that his values and yours correlate, but sometimes, like you put, what if the program of the local people offends the rights of other groups for reasons of color, religion, economic status, or politics? It's on page 122. And it makes sense if they want to, if you go into this community and you want to help them make a change, but their solution for the change is like, okay, well, let's blame all the Jewish people. It's not moral. And it's not gonna help anything really, and then you're just finding a scapegoat.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of steer them away that. But at the same time, you're supposed to be, like not just personifying, but like integrating with the community. So their ideas should be yours. So it's kind of a hard place to be where you don't want to disrespect them and disrespect their wishes because it is their community. But at the same time, you can't really just agree to this kind of immoral, policy or solution. So I don't know, I thought that was interesting. And moving on to tactics. Oh, is this where we stop? I thought it was till the end.
No, we can stop now.
Are you sure? Because it said until 26. Okay. I thought it was all combined because we skipped so many. Okay.